All right, I think we'll go ahead and get started now. Wonderful selection of music. Thank you very much, Hannah. It was great. Welcome everyone to our Impact 100 Seattle Grantee Partner Update featuring East African Community Services, Para Los Ninos, and Somali Family Safety Task Force. We are absolutely delighted that you're giving of your time to join us today. I'm Katrina Russell, co-chair along with Nirupa Shah of the Impact 100 Seattle Nonprofit Committee. Just to let you know, we are recording this meeting so we can post it to the website so that those unable to participate can review it later. So we're going to open with a quick poll question about today, Giving Tuesday. Anna, can you bring the poll up, please? All right, take a moment and get your best answer. All right, and when you're ready, please share the results. All right, looks like most people get it. I think it's very appropriate that we are indeed having this session on Giving Tuesday. And just a little bit of history, I had to look this up, so this is information direct from their website. It's indeed an International Day of Giving. It was created in 2012 as a simple idea, a day that encourages people to do good and to give. Giving Tuesday was born and incubated at the 92nd Street Y and its Belfer Center for Innovation and Social Impact in New York City. Giving Tuesday is now an independent nonprofit and a global movement that inspires hundreds of millions of people to give, collaborate, and celebrate generosity. What better day for us to share what Impact 100 Seattle is doing with our nonprofit partners. So let me just tell you a little bit about our plan for the next hour or so. We're going to have a Q&A session with each of our partner guests today, and then we're going to have a panel discussion in which all three organizations will participate. We encourage you to enter any questions as they come up into the chat room. So let me get started with our first organization, East African Community Services. I'd like to start by introducing Munira Mohammed and have her give you a brief overview of East African Community Services. Munira, you've got the floor. You need to unmute.
Thank you so much, Katrine. Thank you all. It's so nice to be here and share this space with you all in a special day, which is Giving Tuesday, December 1st. I don't know where the year has gone, but it's December. So a little bit about EACS. I'm the Executive Director for East African Community Services. Crazy to say, it feels like I was there forever, but this is my 4th year as an Executive Director. We're based in South Seattle in the New Holly campus, which is Seattle Housing's campus in the New Holly area. We were founded in 2001. Now our main focus is education, so we work with prenatal all the way to college students, and our hope is to bring those college students to be in my role in the future so they can come back and give. We also support families. We have a parent engagement trainings, we have mentorship programming, our high school program. We have something called We Thrive, which our youth are, East Africans are very entrepreneur. Wherever we go, we start businesses, and that's how our families thrive. So our youth are kind of driving themselves toward that and STEM. So we're bringing that together. And we started this program called We Thrive. We have the mentorship program as well as the citizenship classes. So think of an overall wraparound education programming. And with COVID, we expanded to the financial assistance. So now we're giving away food and supporting families with rent and utilities. That's a snap. I know we have 15 minutes, so I don't want to overuse all my time.
Oh, no, that's great. Thank you so much. I think that gives us a flavor of what you and the organization are doing. So let me get on to a few questions for you. One tenet of East African Community Services has been allowing community feedback to drive your programs. Please tell us more about how this is applied in recent months, particularly during this pandemic.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm proud to say that when I came on, coming from, for-profit businesses and working with individuals that are in nonprofit, all the time, individuals feel the need that they know what families need or what communities needs, or they can speak to the need of a child. No one ever took the time to ask what your needs are in order to meet those needs. And as a receiver of those kind of services, myself being an immigrant child growing up in this country, I know how it feels, because everyone thinks you want to hear this. Your school counselor thinks you want to hear this. Your parent thinks you want to hear this. You go into an organization that, well, this is how we can help you. But have you asked me how I want to be helped? So I knew I wanted to start something different. At EACS, we really take consideration of the youth that are getting served. So how we do that is, for instance, if we have a program that we want to develop, we do a survey with the youth. Do you guys think you can benefit from this kind of thing? And they'll be honest. They'll be honest and say, no, Miss Manera, don't waste your money on it. We don't need this. Or they'll be like, yep, I'm interested in this. And it's a majority vote. They all get to vote on that. And if it moves forward, their voice will heard, and then we'll bring into that program or implement that program. That's how we developed our We Thrive that I just spoke about. Our math, code, and robotics was something they all said, hey, I want to become an engineer. We're like, well, would it help if we did coding classes here and, robotics? And they're like, yep, that'd be great. So we started it. Unfortunately, it led to me letting go a couple teachers because my students didn't like them. It didn't suit them. So I can't just say, oh, we'll listen to you and not really fulfill that. But there were some instructors in the classroom, they were just like, they don't respect us. They yell at us. They don't understand our needs. And I had to have those tough conversations. And it is a hard conversations, but I wanted them to feel like this is a space they own. One of our videos that's on our website is, the students say, this is better than my school. And I want that to feel like that when they walk in at EACS, to be a place they could be like, yep, I'm home and I'm being heard. As well as the parents, we do have a committee of parents that come together and that kind of tell us how to do our job, pretty much, and tell my staff how to run their classes and programs. They help us set up our schedules. When COVID hit, we were a site that was doing in-person learning things for the kids. And when COVID hit, we pretty much called in our families and called our youth and said, okay, COVID is here. What should we do? We went from let's do Google Classrooms to let's do Teams to now we don't like any of this, so let's go back to Zoom. So we're back in Zoom. So that's kind of how our community and our youth and our families are involved in the programs that we're providing. As well as I hold once a year, I do a community survey with the parents, and someone outside of the organization comes in, either a board member or a community leader that's volunteering with us, and that surveys all our parents to give us feedback on how everything that we said we will be delivered was delivered, and how their voice are being heard, and if they see it reflected on the services they're getting. I hope that answers your question.
Oh, it does indeed. Thank you. And it kind of ties in with one of our next questions, and it's related to your youth programs. And you've had a very successful youth program with serving more than 160 students. And I know your Back to School Bash provided 500 backpacks to students. How have things been going so far during the school year, and what other support programs are you finding successful?
Yeah, definitely. Our youth program is one that's popular and successful at the same time. And sometimes it hurts me to see kids that are on the wait list, because it always ends up having a wait list of youth that want to get into the program and not enough resources to go around to serve everybody, unfortunately. The success from the summer school has continued into our after school programming right now. We're serving, I believe, 180 or 190 students this school year with right from the backpack drive. I think we ended up with enormous wait list that we weren't expecting. We started with something like 300, and now we're down to 150 youth on the wait list that still need to be removed from it. So the success is still continuous, the services is still continuous, and the support for students is still continuous.
Wonderful. You've mentioned and told us recently about the increased need for mental health support that you're seeing in your community. How is East African Community Services seeking to address that issue?
That issue, we're addressing it in several ways. One, we're providing parent support groups where parents can come together and really just hash out the stress of being home with 6, 5, 4, or 1 kid that needs to be on online learning, that you have to navigate a system that you yourself don't know. I would like to say I'm an educated individual that knows how to navigate, and I'm having a hard time myself. I'm like, what are you supposed to be going to Blackboard? Okay, let's go figure this out. How do we submit this assignment? It's a challenge. And your kids look at you and go, Mom, you don't understand this? And I'm like, no, this is not when I was in the school. They didn't teach me this, right? So if I'm struggling, I can only imagine what a parent that has not gone to schooling here or has this, that doesn't have technology skills is going through. So some things that we are doing for those parents, because that's where the stress is coming from, and that's where the breakdown is coming from, and the mental needs, as well as the students. They're having, disconnected from social. So at least them coming to EACS virtual programming is allowing them to see their friends. And the teachers have incorporated some social emotional activities and learning for them to really just get an opportunity to talk amongst each other and, get that some of those needs met. We also found partners that we can refer to families if there is a major need for mental health support. So we're connected with other organizations or medical support that is providing that work, as well as tapped into some of my board members who are social workers that are giving back and providing some support in that way.
Great, thank you. As you mentioned earlier, you do provide wraparound services and have continued to do so during the pandemic. What areas of service did you prioritize, and what would you like to expand or grow if you had the means?
Area that we expanded and prioritized is food, number one. I don't want any of my kids going to bed without being able to eat. And again, I got 7 of my own, and I feel it. When they were out in school, I felt like my fridge had food in it. Now that everybody is home, I'm shopping every couple of days at Costco. So, and East Africans, we're known of having large families. So some people might say, well, families get EBT. EBT is not enough. It might buy food for the first 2 weeks of the month, but it's not going to buy food for the whole month for families. So we're prioritizing food as well as prioritizing rental assistance, because our families, with the lack of knowledge, with not knowing what landlords are going to do, because they still also have to make their mortgage payments. We have to also understand that, right? So making sure that our families are not left with huge rental bills that they need to pay. So we're prioritizing those 2 things, as well as our infant formula and diapers are still a huge thing that we're distributing and giving away to families.
Okay, so what would you say your current most pressing needs are? They sound like some of them right there.
Yeah. Absolutely. So we got a small grant to give away food vouchers, and I will tell you, I called one of my staff and I said, let me ask you guys, have you put my cell phone number as the contact number for these vouchers? Because I am getting calls right and left. So food seems to be really an urgent need for our families right now. And it's a small amount help, right? Something that I'm thinking, oh, well, we don't have enough. People are like, no, we need this because we could use it. So food is becoming an urgent need, as well as the rental assistance. Those are still coming in. As well as, they're all, everything I just mentioned, everything is still needed, and it hasn't got any easier. With our families work, they're not a profession, they don't hold a professional job. They're all working at, hotels, driving, with flights not being gone. So Uber drivers are not really driving. Taxi drivers don't really have much of a customer that they could pick up. The unemployment fee they're getting is $200, $300 a week. It's not going to meet the needs of the huge family. So everything I mentioned is still an urgent need and urgent priority for us.
Oh, great. Well, we've done really well with our time, so I'm going to wrap us up right now and hand it over to Nirupa for her to introduce our next guest. Thank you so much, Munira.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Katrina and Munira, and welcome to Virginia and Suzanne. Virginia is the executive director of Para Los Ninos, and she will kick off with a brief introduction to her organization and where they are today.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much. My name is Virginia Herrera, and I represent Para Los Ninos. We are a very grassroots organization that really was founded in 2003 and was really It is actually we are still in kind of transition, I say, because I am very new as an executive director. I have just 15 months, around 15 months. So we are learning and continue learning. And we have programs that has been a success for the last 17 years. And when I say a success, is, you know, Para Los Niños start from the community with 4 families that they start talking about over a carne asada, that they start talking about that they don't have interpretation in the schools, that they need to talk and communicate with teachers, and they couldn't do it because the language barriers. So it's how we start. And we start developed programs because of the need of the community and the input of the community. So we start with the English classes, later we got programs of advocacy classes, an after school program, a play and learn program. We have now youth programs, and we have as well just our very recent program, our lab computer program, because it's so needed after these things. So I'm sorry I talk a lot, but basically, you know, we really serve community from 6 months to high schoolers and the whole family. And I think I have 1 minute.
Yeah, that was
Okay,
great.
perfect.
Thank you. So it struck me when we did our update call and you said children of color who don't speak English are left to last and get the least. And this was the inspiration for Para Los Ninos to make English their focus. But this year was different. Like all of us, you had to switch to virtual learning, and most parents were not computer literate, nor do they have access to computers, Zoom, or whatever other platform the rest of us had available. Tell us how you met these challenges.
Susie is going to help me to answer these questions. We're going to go back and forth.
Hi everyone, my name is Susie and I am the Communication and Development Manager for Para Los Ninos. But yeah, I think it's been a challenge for everyone who's not familiar with the platforms being used to connect virtually, right? Like Minura said, platforms like Blackboard are all new to us. No matter how familiar you are with technology, these platforms, we haven't been having to use them in the same frequency as we have to now. Even Zoom, which you know, a lot of folks are using, was foreign. So we saw that challenge in the community and began to provide Zoom training classes and send out any that we saw being done within the community so that members can go do that on their own time. But in addition to these specific Zoom trainings, many people are having to spend a lot of their time on their computers to work and to communicate. So like Virginia said, we do have our computer lab assistant who has begun to hold classes for parents online and if necessary, in-person trainings for those that need more in-depth knowledge. It is a program that is very much tailored to what the parents need and what the community needs. So it can be something as simple as creating an email or putting a signature in an email to navigating Zoom and understanding how to share your screen and things like that. So we have really started to just listen to what the community needs and act on it.
That's excellent. Well, this question is to both of you because I think you share the accolade. You gave me a very impressive new milestone that you've reached. You went from helping 500 families to 4,000 during the pandemic. And for a small organization, that goes against the odds. Do you want to share some of these stories with us?
Sure, I'm going to share the first part and Susie can help me with the second part. Really, you know, we are a very small organization that serves around 500 families in a regular year. It's not because our budget doesn't allow us to serve more people, but definitely in the crisis, we receive, well, actually I request, as soon as I know that this is going to be something really that it's, we cannot control or we cannot help with our budget, I request all of our funders and I make many applications specifically to help our families. And many of our traditional grantors help us. And of course, the help from 100 Impact was amazing as well, because that gives us the opportunity to do many things. And we can, with the money that we raise, we were helped to help families with rent assistance, with gift cards, with art supplies. Yeah, something that we need to mention constantly is that the stress and the mental health in our parents and our children, and it's very difficult to address that just because our culture still have some taboos regarding that. So what we do, when in our giveaways, we always think, in all our programs, we always think about pride and culture, of course, academics, and of course, fun. And with that is so important in this moment. And one part of, you know, the things that we give away, what stress balls, toys for the family, table games, cultural table games. You know, we even translate information for about coronavirus. And one of the more important things is really when we need to do face masks and everybody needs to wear it, we don't have it. So we were able to make masks and distribute it for more over in the beginning, just for the people in our programs, but later we received many donations from many different organizations, and we were able to distribute more than 3,000 masks, plus all the other help that we receive, and we were able to distribute in many ways. As Munira says, food is something that we really are in need, and it's something that we have been provided, gift cards. Do you want to add something, Susie?
Yeah, I'll just quickly add that, you know, utilizing social media is something that we've started to do more. And of course, as always, word of mouth is the foundation. So having community members go out to other folks and spread what we're doing and all of the relief that we're providing to families was important. Our new downtown Burien offices is also in a very central location. So we were able to hold a quick resource fair that, you know, people that were walking by saw, and they're like, what is this? Who are you? And then from there, we started to get more people interested. So our reach has really expanded in the past few months.
Yeah, well, great. Thank you for that. And thank you for adding that little note. Safety is important, food is important, but fun is what makes the world turn around. So great that you thought about that. The one other thing that I'd like you to comment on before we round up is the partnerships that you created with other community organizations. Would you both like to speak to that as well?
Well, definitely, I think this has been always important for Para Los Ninos. We have been historically have many, I mean, our main partnership is the highest school district and the city of Burien. They have been funded us, helping us, and we have been developed many programs together. But of course, we every time want more partnerships. COVID-19 has, it's a great example of how we continue doing partnerships. I mean, right now with the funds that we received, that many people was with no jobs, we were able to send volunteers and give stipends to them to help organizations that really become essential because they distribute food. One of them is, of course, the Highline Pantry, the Somali Parents and Education Boards, the Lake Presbyterian Church, the Tequila Food Pantry as well. And we have been really the Exchange Club. So we really have been doing all those partnerships in collaboration to address the needs of COVID-19. And we actually collaborate as well with Alimentando el Pueblo, that is a new a new program that we definitely are collaborating with them. And Susie can talk to a little bit more about this collaboration.
Sure, thanks, Susie. And then we'll round off with you all telling us about your pressing needs, because we just have just over a minute left.
Perfect. So I'll go into the pressing needs. We have been working with Feeding El Pueblo. Several organizations are part of that. And it's always just good to come together and help each other out. We eventually, at the end of the day, just want to help. So we have the same mission. But most pressing needs, Virginia can back me up on this, but as always, is money, right? And these unrestricted funds that you provide us are so essential, and we are so grateful for them, because it allows us to adapt to what the community needs without hesitation, right? A perfect example is what happened with COVID-19. We didn't expect it to hit as hard as it did, you know, but because of the money that we had and the funds that we were able to receive, it allowed us to act and provide all of these programs and these resources. Like Virginia said, we provided, you know, the grocery store gift cards, rental assistance. We started giving out school supplies, art supplies, culturally relevant board games, little pamphlets, things so that kids can continue to be connected to their culture and to the community in some way, despite the fact that we were all at home.
Great, that is wonderful. Thank you both. And it seems like the themes that are coming through are connection, fun, and topping it all is the usual ask, or the big ask, I think, which is money.
Yes. And
yes.
just to add something, how important has been for us that people that has been volunteer for years to Para Los Ninos without any payment or any stipend, now without a job, we were able to somehow give them back stipends, and they can keep, you know, the stress of do not have a job. The majority of our community are people that works, you know, are essential people that has work in a restaurants, and they've been laid off. So has been really a blessing that we can contribute a little bit with the stipends for the volunteer job that they have been doing for years for us, but now we expanded with our partners.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Virginia. I'm going to hand over to Katrina again.
Okay. Well, thank you, Virginia, Susie, and Nirupa. It's now my pleasure to introduce Farhia Muhammad and the Somali Family Safety Task Force. And it looks like Farhia has a guest as well. So let me turn it over to you if you'll unmute and give us an overview of Somali Family Safety Task Force, and perhaps introduce your guest.
Hi, my name is Farhia Muhammad. I'm Executive Director and the founder of the Somali Family Safety Task Force. And my guest is like the one of the program manager, Mohammed Ismail, who is also joining shortly. I told him what we do for today, and he loved it to be in. So yeah, we have it, Mohammed, the Somali Family Safety Task Force, like a small non-private. We just like turn it to our the 5 years this year. So we do so many things. It is like not only one program or two programs. We like work with the youth, with the families, with seniors, all that what we do. We located to the New Holly and community center also. We just like have a small staff now. We almost like 9 staff. We've been growing since like 2007. So yeah, it's like we start 2005, but like as a volunteer, but now yes, like when we get our 501c3 we applied many programs. So then like we are growing right now. So
great, that's a nice evolution for you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, tell us about 2 of your biggest successes during these converging catastrophes of both COVID-19 and the protests for social injustice.
Okay, so the COVID-19, it's hit for the, like, as you know, to refugee and immigrant and the people of color. Especially, it's really hard for them. But what is like for our success is like we get a lot of help. We start into like the March, the end of the March, like at the send into when we locked down, we started to give into families for the food. So finding to some resources, like the Fridays, I was delivering for the food. For that when I was getting to like seniors and who is like single mom who is not driving themselves, I was dropping to door. So I know these people. So for all of them, I have to drop to call them, and then I said, oh, there is the food. Can you pick it up? So we did like also to during Ramadan time, we fundraisers some money. And then that Ramadan is really special month of the Muslim community. They have to have it like when it's sent down to food, everybody gathering together, which is some people, they used to go to the mosque, but this year, like the lockdown, everybody, they have to stay. Even if you have it or if you don't have it, you have to stay your home because there's no place, especially single people, they used to go to the mosque to have their iftar there. But this year, everybody, they stayed their home. So we have to make sure to fundraise more money, to give extra food. As Munira mentioned, is because like you have to put your fridge all the time for the food. Because everybody now is the home. Nobody's working, no school. So everybody, they need to eat the food same time. So that's how, I want to make sure the people, they get what they need. And then we turned also all our programs to virtual because of what is going on. So we have to like the old programs to do that, and then to educate our people, to create like a WhatsApp groups. They can listen what's going on. So even if they need to like the COVID, if it's like some new things come, we have to tell them to people, maybe they don't read or write. Some of them, they don't have any education. So we have to educate our own. Also my sewing program, we closed, but like I had some of the clothing and then to elastic, all that when some women, I drop them, they sew, they give, also I distribute more than 1,000 masks. They make my women's program. We distribute all beautiful colors. So, that's how is like the COVID succeeds we had. I don't know if Mohammed, he want to add some. Also, the one is like everything virtual. For the kids, some of them, they don't have fast internet. So we did fundraise, and then we give away 19 laptops for the youth who really in need. So I know in the community, and always like we like community driven. So we meet what is the community they need. We don't do to the programs what we need only. So we have to ask it to the community what they need. So that's how. And then I know I've been like working long time with the community. So we have to find out what is the community needs. Some of them, I know them. So that is why, like when they said, oh, I have a lot of kids, my internet's not working very well. The computers, we receive it. Oh, it's not working very well. So the kids who is in need, those families, I give 19 families with the 19 laptops, brand new laptops. Also,
I think we can all relate to internet issues these days as we are Zooming so much.
Yes, I know.
Did you want Mohammed to offer anything?
Yeah, I can add to that. I know Farhia, she mentioned about, food scarcity in the COVID-19, especially with the people of community of color. A lot of them, they lost jobs. So in the Somali community, halal food is hard to find. I live downtown, and for me, it's really hard to find a halal chicken, halal meat. So we have been working for here. She's been delivering all the grocery halal meat. And last week, we provided more than 60 people, families, halal meat. And everybody was excited, and they showed up here. They got the food, took all this bag. It was raining, it was pouring on that Friday. Other needs is the technology needs with the community. Everybody's on the Zoom right now. Access to resources is really difficult. You can't do that in person anymore. So with the community, they don't have computers, a lot of them. We provide 19 computers to a youth and some families, and there were more, they came by and they asked if they can get some computer for their kids. We didn't have enough computer to give to everybody. So a lot of them, they need, Wi-Fi, access to internet. It's a basic need right now in the pandemic. And the other pressing issue with the community, what I'm observing right now, is the indoor pollution. Indoor pollution is rising with the people of color, especially. 9 kids, 10 kids, and in the small space, there's not enough ventilation and a lot of cooking, so a lot of food they fry and they eat. So they're more vulnerable to COVID-19. A lot of them there, have really bad symptoms for months. They're still not recovered. So we have all these basic needs right now. We're working on is the food we doing every Friday for here. Farhia is out there every day. She's plugged into the community. She's delivering these groceries every day. We don't have enough staff, but she's working so hard and giving this food and interacting with the community and taking out all these single moms for we have the walking to wellness program. A lot of them, they walk in the evening, just to stay healthy and get some fresh air outside. So we have other programs we're working on. The domestic violence, it's rising.
Well, let me get to that, because that was one that we wanted to address. And I know that a lot of your work at Somali Family Safety Task Force is aimed at keeping your community safe by making deep-seated changes, particularly addressing those issues of domestic violence. We would like to know more about the programs and activities that you're using towards that end. And I know that there's a particular issue related to privacy to deal with those, and that you have some specific needs along those lines. We've just got a couple more minutes, but I'd sure like to hear you discuss that.
Okay. So yeah, I know domestic violence is really difficult. Domestic violence, sexual assault, human trafficking, all that is really hard to talk about in the community. Without confidentiality also is really hard, because I have 2 staff who specialize for domestic violence, and then their manager. Those people also to the staff, we have to make sure they understand for what's confidentiality, what is also the community, because one of them is not Somali. 2 of them is not the Somali, the manager and one staff. I have to train them for this Somali culture. We have to have it for also to the Somalis, we are small, we know each other mostly. So we have to make sure our confidentiality, because some men also, they against domestic violence, that is the taboo to talk in the community. So that's why we really need confidentiality. Also, we are looking right now, confidentiality place, because in here, maybe a lot of people, they know since the COVID-19 also, we started social services. So I'm social worker, so we have to do so many, because food delivery and giving about the rent issue, rent assistant. So that's why right now also I'm looking for the space for the confidentiality to make sure my the clients, they are safe, and my staff also, they safe. So we work, it's really increased, as Mohammed was saying right now, it's increased. We work a couple of the shelters. Right now I have a few women who is in the shelter, even though the COVID-19 is really hard to take for the children, but at the places who has large families, spaces, I am putting them. Some of them also we have to find to rent to assist them. So it's really hard. It's increased since the COVID-19. Then when you ask it, the women, they said, yes, because husband now he is at home. So he is tortured all his frustration, me and my children. So there is no work. Maybe he was taxi driver or Uber driver, and then now everybody are at home. So that's how is the violence increasing. Also, sometimes we get to different stage from phone call. They ask it, and then I can give over the phone, or my staff, they can give over the phone for the safety plan, how to escape, how to stay safe. If some of them they don't have their green card, they need that husband to help them to get to their legal status. So he brought them here. So we have to make sure all the documents they need to escape, they can have it. also if they want to stay, but if like something happen, how they can get to the safe place. It's not only Somali now, a lot of other Africans, Latino, they calling us also. It's not only Somali, the community right now. Many other African countries, East Africans and the Latino included, we have it so many. Like already this year, we serve more than 60 women who is like, yeah, coming. And then the more, I don't know, last month and this month, we didn't update, but like we serve, yes, more than 60 women.
So before we get into the panel discussion, what would you two identify as your most pressing needs for the organization right now?
We really need, like always, you know, that is the money is issue. For the financial services is really issue, because like some of the women is also who is like escape to DV, they really need like the food foragers. Even if you bring them to halal food here, they cannot come. Or some of the shelters also is confidentiality, nobody can go there. So if we give them to like the forager, or also if we don't have it any place that night opening, maybe if we get to the motel forgeries, it's really, yeah, support for them. Okay. Transportation, some of them, they don't drive. Also, it's really hard to drive your car where you escape. So they want to access for the like transportation for the Uber. So those kind of, yes, we need. And then to like the kids is still technology. We really need more, yes, support about the technologies too. So our families to get them.
Well, thank you so much, Farhia and Mohammed. I'm going to hand it back over to Nirupa now so we can go into the panel discussion portion.
Okay.
Thanks, Katrina. I mean, this was really great. It paints such a vivid picture of where everybody's at. Mm-hmm. I see a few questions coming into the chat box, but before we go into them, let's have our panel discussion, and I invite the organizations back with the EDs and their guests. And I'm just going to say, I did the poll and guilty as charged. I said, in addition to this being a day of thanking my neighbors, Katrina and Maya, for giving me their leftover turkey. Today is a day to celebrate collaboration and partnership. And Impact 100 evolves and learns from our partner feedback. So in the spirit of that, the first question I have is in two parts. We give unrestricted grants. And I wonder if Virginia and Farhia could answer part A, tell us why an unrestricted grant has been helpful to you. And if Munira could address part B and tell us how an unrestricted grant has changed the scope of what you can do with unrestricted money. So please go ahead, and we have about 7.5 minutes for each question. So 2.5 minutes per organization.
So do you want me to start? This is Virginia.
Yeah. Yes, please, Virginia. You and Farhia will answer the first question.
Well, definitely, I mean, I probably, some of you know, but I am a big advocate of unrestricted funds. And it's because I think it is a great intentions that the grantors and philanthropists has and want to monitor how we spend the money. But some of grantors has been realized that we really are the people that know our communities better, and the community itself know what are their needs. And the community don't go to the philanthropists, go to the grassroots organizations where they trust. So I think trust is a very, you know, the more important thing, not just for our community, for the philanthropists. So when they give us unrestricted funds, it's automatically a trust in there. And I think that makes the situation very different from many other grantors. It is so important because it allowed us to really hear our community and plan things based in what the community needs. And just an example, I mean, we are talking about food, but we decided to some of those grants spend it just in gift cards. Mostly the times, if I ask how much will be a card, and mostly the people give cards of $25, $50. But I take the decisions to give away gift cards of $200. Why? Because to go to the store, you need to spend gas. You need our families are families between 3 and 6 children. As everybody that has children know that when children are in the summer, they go at least 7 to 15 times to the freeze. So now that is increasing, like, the whole pandemic, children are at home. So we are nervous, how are we going to feed our children and with healthy things? So just we decided that the parents know what they want, that they need in their homes. So we give away a 200 gift cards, and we continue giving with the funds that we have. We have the capacity to give stipends or to pay people that traditionally help us as a volunteer. We have the capacity to decide if we're going to do the mask or not. And I think this is something different, and I really appreciate that you do that, because I think it sets an example for the other philanthropists and people. That is a trust, is that you trust the community that we are working together. And I think, we have been here for 17 years. So I really think we need to continue working. And this is really unpredictable. But in regular situation, of course, allowed us to put certain money in certain program where we need more, buy a computer that was, computer don't last forever, fix the computer, the little tiny things that we can decide where we need in our program. So.
Thank you. That you make an excellent case. We're going to keep doing this. Fahia, do you want to add to that?
Yes, because unrestricted fund is really good for our clients and our families. Because like also 2 weeks ago, one of the victims of domestic violence, she came and then she doesn't have anything. So she's staying with her mom, and like she doesn't have her car. When she came, she drove to our center and the gas over. So she cannot go back. It's happened. I had for the Safeway gift card, I give her. Because like if you have it unrestricted the money, you can buy the gas, a diaper, whatever that moment to participants they need it. Because it's low income, our client is all of them, that refugee and immigrant population. Mm-hmm. Even if they had before to work right now, some of them, they're not working because of the kids, they stay at home. The school is at home. So they have to support their kids. And supporting to the kids, you cannot go to school because like 5 kids, 6 kids, the daycares, they cannot help them. They have to make sure to the parents to be with their kids, the kids, they can go to the online schooling. So that's why some of the parents, they quit their jobs. Because right. They cannot let them to work same time and then to do 4 years, it's really hard for them. So that's why, like, if we have it, this one, if it's a client, they need, I need my kids some snack stuff. I don't have the money. So I can give them, because some of them, they don't have it, food stamps. Some of them, they have it, but some of them, they don't have it. So that is why, it's unrestricted fund. When they come, we have to give them. We have to buy for, yes. Like,
so you have the freedom.
Yes. Yes. So that's how, yes, like we really need to serve our clients.
Thank you. Munira, I wonder if you can add to how it changes the scope of your work when you have unrestricted money.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Fahia and Virginia covered that as well. When you have unrestricted funding, first and foremost, the funder is telling you, you're in charge, you know what you're doing. We're not coming in with, here's the only way you could spend this money, but you could spend this money in the ways that you see the needs of the community. And I think that's very important, as well as it allows you the flexibility to move money around within different programming and the needs of the community. for instance, your funding was unrestricted, which allowed us to cover rent, cover food, cover diapers, cover whatever that needed to come up, versus our funding that was tied down to education K-8 programming, which you can't do much with unless you reached out to funders. So I think the funding world needs to change, and I think I see some changes, but there's a lot more that needs to be done, because unrestricted allows individuals like ourselves, EDs and programs know what they're doing. So letting us run that and run with that, and provide the reporting. Definitely, I'm all for transparency and how things are spent, because you want to know. Wonderful donors, as this membership that's here wants to know how those fundings are being spent, but just giving that little flexibility allows us to do a lot more.
Yes, that's great. And I'm so happy to hear that, because it seems like it came at the right moment. And it allowed many organizations to survive the pandemic.
Definitely.
So my second question is about our goal. Our goal is to create ongoing partnerships with the people that we award grants to. And during the interview, the update interview that we had, all of you shared some ideas about how we can cultivate this partnership. So I'm going to ask you all to answer in turn again. We're running short of time, so perhaps a minute and a half each, starting again with Virginia. How do we cultivate this partnership? What are some ideas of where we can meet you? I guess if all three of you can remain unmuted, that would be great.
Yes, I think definitely, I really appreciate the trust that you have since the first time. As I say, it's a big and huge step that you give in restricted funds. It really is a huge step from the part of a philanthropist or grantor. So I really appreciate that already. I hope you continue doing it. Definitely, I think right now, because we cannot meet, I think something that we are, sometimes, even though we have many connections and we have been for many years, sometimes key people that probably you can let them know about us. Send the information about Para Los Ninos, where we are, what we do, and the success that we have. I think if you share this part will be amazing. If we share, we have very few fundraising events, but if you can, as well share this information will be so nice for us. Always we are, do I invite these people to, just we have a gala that we did very well, but sometimes I say, who I'm missing? And I think that will help us a lot as well.
That's wonderful. Munira?
Yes. I would piggyback on what Virginia just said. I think we're 20 some years old, and I still consider ourselves a grassroots organization. We're not the big boys and girls or those big organizations. And anytime funders or any groups that we're part of could bring those visibilities to the organization is a great thing. As well as I think in partnership with whether you're publishing us on your websites, or we're publishing you guys in your websites, sending volunteers our way, sending donors our way, any relationship and any conversations that, organizations that are grantees of you guys are presented are opportunities for us to be out there and do more of the great work that we're doing, I think, as a community.
Yeah, I think I recall you saying that you needed, I think all three of you, connection to larger networks of fundraising, whether it be corporates or small businesses or individual donors. Just expanding the network is something of great value to you. Fahia, do you want to add to?
I agree with them, because always partnership is really great. Like mostly what I see you guys also to your board members is the woman who like your board members. So it's like, we are helping to who is like always this hardship it is like impacted is the women and children. So that is like a really great, if yes, like always you guys can find some way to support these organizations, it's really great.
Yes. So I want to thank all of you for sharing with us today. It seems to me that being closely connected and responsive to your communities remains central to the way in which you make transformational and high impact change for them. And it's very much in keeping with our values. Maya, I wonder if there are questions that have not been answered so far that we want to answer from the chat box.
Nirupa, as far as I can tell, I think people have just been commenting on the amazing work these grantee partners are doing. I don't see any specific questions that have come through for them.
Thanks, Maya.
I think that there is one actually right now that I'd love to have everyone speak to. Mary just asked, is there anything that would be helpful for you three as leaders of these organizations? Any sort of specific, I think Munira already said coaching for an ED, but anything specific that, you know, the women of our organization could help you with?
Yes, and all the time, yes, we need support. Because, like, you know, when you get support or different opinion, you will have it succeed that one. Because something I am not sure the way I will do, but if I get to someone else to support me, that one is like my success. So I don't know to other people, but like always, yeah, support, it's really great if we get.
And I can comment, I responded back on the chat, but I think being an ED is a lonely life. You're putting away everybody's fire, but you don't have much support. And I always find it helpful when I can find a coach or someone that I can bounce ideas off, or someone that's just like, hey, once a month you and I could chat because I have done this work or I'm in a similar field.
Great. Virginia, do you have anything to add?
I think it's a difficult question because we need everything, but we need everything, and I have to be very honest. If it's something I don't know, I always say the answer what is to be a ED, and I say please everybody. So sometimes you know, please everybody, and being being in mind always the community is the first thing it has to be the first thing in your mind. I think it's many ways that many things that I can have right now. I think a project for the community where I don't have to manage it, that people sometimes can manage it with a leader support and bring something to the community will be amazing. And I think the love of certain things, everybody have different skills. So I think it's more related at what you want to do, what is your skill, what is your passion, and we can talk about it, something beneficial for our community. I don't know specific things right now, but definitely it's I can come up with many things if depending on which is the person that want to help us in which aspect specifically. I don't know if I answer well or I need more clarification.
I think we get it. I think it's what you are saying is an important point. It's an open conversation. It is ongoing. And once the doors are open, we will find ways to work together because we are willing.
Because I can have my lease. I can send my list.
Oh, you can do that too. You can do that too. So our partners have shared how we can help them, but we can all double that impact today by renewing our memberships with Impact 100. And I have looked around the room and I can see that I'm preaching to the converted, but it has come up repeatedly how we all needed a place of rest, a place of joy, a place of sharing. And when our homes have become a 24/7 place when celebration and events have been cancelled, and there have been endless cycles of home cooking in every home. I didn't think of it as adding home pollution, but certainly it is up there. What has there been at the center of it all? And I would go as far as to say Impact 100 has been that one constant and I guess inspiring place to rest, in contrast to what's happening out there. And what a year it has been. Impact 100 has been a rock. So I invite you all to renew your membership and make that double impact today. I think Maya has a few words to say, and after that, we'd like those who would like to chat a little longer to stay on the call. Maya?
Thanks, Nirupa. I just want to say thank you to our grantee partners for your time. I think everybody's as inspired as I am. And then also just to everybody, thank you for spending your Giving Tuesday lunch hour with us. As Nirupa said, if you have any questions about upcoming events, membership, or if you would like to learn more about Impact 100 Seattle, then please stay on the call and we can continue our conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Katrina.
Thank you to everyone.
Thank you, everyone. This has been
you.
inspiring. Thank you.